It's Gary the Bomber Bombalicki in another edition of Shooting Star. Coming up, we have a very special guest, former U.S. Secret Service, Uniform Division, and White House Watch Commander Bill Vucci joining me. It's the Shooting Star program with Gary the Bomber Bombalicki, and we have our executive producer here, the insane Daryl Wayne. Hello, Daryl.
Greetings, Gary. Welcome back.
Thank you for doing your excellent work on this show today. Appreciate that.
My distinct pleasure.
And new on our website for the Blowback Laser Trainer at blowbacklasertrainer.com. We have a list of a whole bunch of gun shows that we've been appearing at throughout the country. And the reason we're doing that is we find that people really want to touch and feel and try out the Blowback Laser Trainer. And so we've been going to gun shows and we've had great success with that. And so just go to our website, Blowback Laser Trainer, and you can see where you can touch and feel and shoot the Blowback Laser Trainer. So check it out. But right now, here on the Shooting Star program, we have former U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division of the White House Watch Commander William Vucci, or I would say Bill Vucci, a good friend of mine. Hello, Bill. How you doing?
Hi, Gary. How you doing?
Good. I hope I was able to introduce you properly.
You did great.
Tell everybody, Bill, a little bit about yourself and how we connected up.
I served as a member of the U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division in the Department of Homeland Security for about 31 years, near it. And I started with President Ronald Reagan in 1983, and I finished up with President Barack Obama in 2013. So the things that I say, I can only speak for myself, but during my life after the assassination attempt against President Ronald Reagan, I knew the Secret Service was the career path unique for me because it allowed me to directly serve our country by protecting the lives of the many presidents I held the honor to serve. So my belief in protecting the Commander-in-Chief was a great way and a humble way, worthy of trust and confidence to protect the President. They say that Secret Service are the protectors of democracy. I believe it.
Well, that's a real honor to have that position. I mean, just to talk to you about that, we're honored to have you on the program.
Well, thank you.
Tell us, how did you find us at the Blowback Laser Trainer, and what was the reason why you came looking for us?
Well, during my time in doing presidential protection, you can imagine the diverse types of activities that happen around the White House during 3 decades of working against nefarious intents. I learned that at the blink of an eye, your life can change, and I was involved in a number of different situations we call assaults on protectees, or AOPs. So I learned quickly that life can change really quick, and I also learned how to shoot a weapon and become very proficient with it. But I had the luxury. The Secret Service gave me some excellent trainers. And all the agencies out there have some excellent instructors. And I would say, those of you who are out there in police, those instructors are your lifesavers because they teach you the muscle memory that you need to learn. So when a situation happens, you're acting instinctively rather than thinking about it. Because if you got to think about it, it's too late. You're going to be dead, or the person you're trying to protect is going to be dead. So I would say all the years that I practiced, I became a distinguished expert, and that takes a lot of shooting. So I used to go down to the range at least 2 or 3 times a week and practice. But not every agency has that capability to allow their officers or hierarchy, whatever, to go down to the range and practice all the time. So when I finished my career, I was looking for a technology that allowed somebody to be able to practice as much as they want, anywhere, anytime, any place on the planet. And that was a very safe system. So you didn't have to have a designated safe location. You didn't have to have a safety officer. You didn't have to don a bunch of gear to protect yourself from projectiles. So I was looking for something that felt, looked, reacted just like a regular firearm. But instead of a projectile going down range, I had a laser so I could know exactly where I'm hitting. And I didn't have to worry about any type of ammunition to purchase or anything. Instead, I needed something that had the capability of blowing back the slide just like a regular semi-automatic pistol. Because the biggest thing that most instructors will tell you is the reason why their students usually pull their rounds is because of the anticipation of the bang or the blowback of the weapon. So I was looking for something that you can, what they call recoil recovery. You learn how to think through friend of mine who made the contacts with me and you, and that's how we got together.
So when you first received the Blowback laser trainer, what was your first impression of it?
I was pretty surprised because it had an excellent, distinct pop sound. To me, it was like putting a silencer on a 9mm. So it had a nice, distinct pop sound with the slap of the slide going back. I believe it's 850 PSI. That's what I read out on your stats. And that is enough to make it feel and react just like a regular semi-automatic pistol. But instead of worrying about a projectile going down, I have a laser coming out. So I have one of these laser targets that when I'm hitting it, I know exactly where I'm hitting it. I know what kind of score I'm getting. But what I like, especially when being a former SWAT, we have an emergency response team. If you're in a tactical type of a team, you get a couple of these targets and you can set it up anywhere at any office or any facility that you have. It doesn't have to be a designated firearm range. And now you can practice doing entries. You can get yourself toned up before you go into an entry for an arrest or for some sort of a breach or any type of a takedown. It gives you the possibility of developing your own little CQB and getting your officers ready to take care of business that they need to do. And here's the problem. That most officers, the supervisors and the logistics that's involved in scheduling their personnel out to the range to get the range officers out there, get the instructors, all that takes time. This doesn't take any time. This actually, all you need is about 5. If you've got a team of 5 to 7, if you've got an entry team for that, or if you just have regular officers that need it, you need a certain stockpile, and you need to keep them in your different field offices. So when they go into the work, they're constantly having the time, when they get that time, to get out there and practice inside their own office in a designated location. And it doesn't have to be a safety room. I mean, because there is no projectiles here. There's no gear that you have to wear. It just makes common sense.
Well, it really does, and that's why we developed this whole thing. But then when we talk to folks like you, and you talk about how you use the Blowback laser trainer, makes us feel good that we're developing something that is of great use, that will improve your shooting proficiency and fill that time gap if you don't have the time to get to the range, even if you're at home. Now, when you were talking about the targets, you're talking about the Blowback laser trainer targets that we have available that comes with the system, but also you can buy them additionally as well.
Exactly. So you can buy as many of those targets as you want. So you can set up an active shooter role where you're going around with a team to go in and take out or neutralize a subject out in an area where there's multiple targets going on. Or if you're like a hostage rescue team that you need to take out multiple targets, you've got that ability. Also, you can just make up whatever type of roles that you need for your department, because it keeps your skills tone to the skill sets that you need, that you have those instincts that are now embedded, and you're not thinking about what you need to do. You're instinctively reacting to what you need to do, and that's the difference between life and death out there.
Well, what's your thought about, some people say, well, I use a Glock 19 or a SIG P320 or an M&P 40, Smith & Wesson M&P 40, or some of the other standard issued weapons for law enforcement and military. They say, well, we can't train with that if it's not the same model. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, Gary, I don't buy by that one. Your hand's got all these different muscles. You got all these different bones in there. Your hand's not going to tell the difference between one type of gun over another. You need to have something that feels and reacts and moves just like a regular gun. That's going to teach you the muscle skills, muscle memory that you need when you're going into a situation. As far as your regular operative guns that you're going to be utilizing for your service, you need to use your regular weapons, of course. You need to get out there. You need to shoot some rounds downfield. You've got to get that, too. One thing that we used to have to do, in the old days, we didn't have any technology like this. So in the old days, you have to breathe in all kinds of toxic fumes. You're going to be taking in a lot of lead. It's a wonder I didn't get lead poisoning. But in order to get good, you had to shoot lots and lots of rounds, hundreds and hundreds to thousands of rounds in order to get good.
And most police departments don't have that kind of budget to do that.
Of course not.
Most police departments that we talk to say that they shoot anywhere from 50 to 200 rounds a year. Now, some people say that's not true, but from a lot of the police departments I talk to, that seems to be the case.
I would imagine, because there's been been a lot of changing, and I'm not going to go into particulars, but there's been a lot of changing in the way administrators have done for different agencies where they have to shoot. You can't qualify every month, and you can't go down to the range 2 or 3 times a week like I used to do in the old days. It's just the budgets will not allow that. So they're very strict on the amount of times that you're able to use the range and how often you get qualified. So you need to have something in between those times. And in between those times, you need something, either you're going to do it on your own time, at your own range that you want to go to and spend your own out-of-pocket expenses on it, or you're going to find something that's a technology that you can keep on practicing and using either at work or at home to keep those proficiency levels up.
Well, some of the best shooters in the world that I know, they dry fire a lot. And one of the great things about the Blowback Laser Trainer, and for folks that are new coming into the law enforcement area or even in the military, they've been telling me that dry fire is important. And so the Blowback Laser Trainer is great because there's a lot of new people coming into law enforcement, and you can introduce them to firearms in a way that you can't right now. And that is that you can have them learn the fundamentals of how to handle a firearm. And then after that, have them dry fire the gun to see exactly how things are working for them and their line of sight, their point of impact, etc. And then have a recoil with the Blowback Laser Trainer with some CO2 in it, and then take them down to the range. And I was just wondering, what recommendation would you have for people that are looking to get into the law enforcement profession, and some of the things they should prepare for before they apply for these type of positions?
First of all, they need to get out. If they're going into a law enforcement type of range, they're going to be carrying a weapon. You're going to be carrying a firearm. You might want to look into the agency that you're looking in to find out what type of firearm they're carrying so they can practice with one if they want to purchase one. The problem is if you start going out there and going to a range without the proper supervision, you're going to start picking up bad skills. That's why you need instructors to teach you the proper skills on weapon handling, sight alignment, trigger control, picture, all that type of thing. You need to get those fundamentals. Now, if you can get an instructor at a local range to teach you some of those fundamentals, that's going to be great. And then when you go into the agency that you're going to, learn from your instructors. They will definitely improve those muscle memory skills. But while you're getting ready, this is a great way. The Blowback Laser Trainer is a great introduction into what a firearm, a handgun, is all about, because you're able to do the dry fire, which is, I think, a 7-pound pull on your trigger. And then once you get used to that, you start getting that trigger control. And once you learn your trigger control, then you start putting in the CO2 cartridge, and then you start learning how to look through that bang and that blowback, because that is key to success. All your instructors will tell you, everybody, when they first start out, they start anticipating that bang and blowback, and that's usually why somebody's going to jerk the trigger and they're going to miss their target. Your Blowback Laser Trainer simply teaches you recoil recovery so you can think right through that. The old saying that most instructors will tell you is make sure your shot is a surprise. There's a reason for that, because if it's a surprise, then your round's going to go right where it needs to go. If you're anticipating that shot, then you're already pushed it before it even ignited. So these are the things that you need to know. And
right.
If you have somebody that's just getting into it, that's a great segue into an actual handgun.
Daryl's experienced it firsthand along with me. There's a lot of people that when they pull the trigger on the gun for the first time, what is their reaction, Daryl? What do they say?
It's just like the real thing.
Every once in a while we'll have someone that says, this is not a real gun. When I said, well, you can't shoot a real gun in your living room. You can't do that.
Unless you're Elvis Presley.
That's
then you can shoot the TV set.
Okay.
Well, I just know that I look at a lot of news. I research a lot of the news that's going on, and the incident rates of shootings and mass shootings and gun things are getting so high. It's doubled within the last decade. In fact, I think Secretary Kirsten was talking about the Border Patrol, and we're looking at 1 million people that are going to be coming into this country that are illegal aliens. And how many of those are trafficking weapons? How many are trafficking women? How many are trafficking guns, narcotics, you name it? And there's a lot of gangs that are coming over here with nefarious intent. So there's just so many. Then you look over at the workplace violence. I mean, I looked at back in the stats from 1995, and then maybe 500,000 people were reported for workplace violence back then. Now it's 2 million a year, or whether it's some sort of a hostile, violent action within the workplace. People need to learn. Those who are gun carriers need to learn the basics, and they need to learn it now, because the likelihood that something's going to strike you or happen in front of you is getting more and more prevalent. And if you don't, and if you're not ready, then you're not ready. So think about what you got to do. It's too late.
Now, Bill, you actually teach these things in your company. Tell us a little bit about your company before we wrap it up here.
Oh, okay. Well, my company is VS3, or Vucci Strategic Security Solutions. So I've been there, I've done it. I've been involved in a lot of different incidents. So I work with people dealing with workplace violence or active shooters. I also develop emergency response plans for folks. I develop different protocols for people on how they should handle some sort of a scene or an active violent scene at their either church, synagogue, school, business operation, corporate company. These are things, and plus I can also teach people how to do different types of emergency responses, protection, that type of things.
And how can people reach you?
My email is william.vucci@me.com. William.vucci, if you like in Victor, UCCI, and then the @ sign, and then me, like you and me, me.com. It's an iCloud thing. And they can contact me anytime, and I can always talk offline on what they would like to
Well,
know.
the services that you offer are very unique and special considering your background. And I think that if you have anything that you're looking to do as far as security is concerned, or active shooter training for your school, your church, or your business, Bill would be the perfect person to talk to. And so we're going to wrap it up here, Bill. Thanks a lot. So, Bill, again, was former U.S. Secret Service Uniform Division for the White House, and he was the watch commander at the White House. Bill Vucci, thank you for joining the show today.
Well, thank you, Gary, for having me.
We really appreciate it. And, again, our website, Blowback Laser Trainer, and remember to go to there and see where we're going to be appearing at gun shows around the country, where you can check out the Blowback Laser Trainer and get to fire it for yourself. And if you like it, you can pick one up. So this is Gary the Bomber Bombalicki saying goodbye till next time. You've been listening to the Shooting Star program with Gary the Bomber Bombalicki. If you want to know more about the Blowback Laser Trainer, just go to www.blowbacklasertrainer.com. That's blowbacklasertrainer.com, and we'll see you again next time.